All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening learning to the Bayasha Debadat, the house of David. All right, I am Ayah Shatab.
I am Darash.
I'm correct, sir.
All right, and coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai with Willie Lynch. And I believe it is chapter 8, I believe, but we'll definitely get it right on the description. All right, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. This will be the last chapter, and then we have the conclusion of the Willie Lynch letter. All right, but without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it.
All right, controlled language. Crossbreeding completed. For further severance from the original beginning, we must completely annihilate the mother tongue to both the new Negro and the new mule, and institute a new language that involves a new life's work of both.
Con. So actually, can you pull out Genesis 11 and 1?
Genesis 11 and 1, it says, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech."
God. So the whole earth was of one language and one speech. All right. So that means the whole entire planet spoke one language, as it was ordained by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. There was no difference in the way that you communicate. And if I remember correctly, drop down, I'm going to say, what is it, 6? Salakia.
To have all one language. Genesis 11 and 6, it says, "And the Lord said, Behold, people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do."
Salakia.
That's not what you wanted?
No. Salakia. I have it highlighted. Salakia.
No, keep going down
6 and 7.
So verse 7. You want me to reread 6?
Go on. Read 6 and 7.
Alright. Verse 6. "And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech."
Khan, so Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai ripped the language and changed the language of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and essentially the whole world. All right? So everybody will not be on one consent and speak a different language. All right? But chiefly the Israelites. All right? It was part of our destruction, not knowing who we are. All right? Okay, go ahead and continue.
And that's that's in the Tower of Babel, and know that Babel is confusion.
Come.
That was the start of confusion.
All right, now it says, language is a peculiar institution. It leads to the heart of a people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society.
What? All right? So this is strategic. All right? This is a strategic ploy, all right, to cut the nation of Israel off from being a people. This was all these nations being confederate in the book of Psalms 83. All right? It's still this way today. All right? That's why most of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans don't know how to speak multiple language. All right? And those who do, everybody has them in awe. All right? And they have a lot more understanding, all right, as far as worldly knowledge and things of that nature. Matter of fact, can you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 25?
Deuteronomy 28 and 25, it says, "The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all kingdoms of the earth."
Time. All right. And so you're removed into all kingdoms of the earth and you have no language. All right. Go ahead.
All right, now it says, therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of another country, to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture.
Is this not along with the Art of War series? All right. It is a ploy. It is a military tactic. All right. If you don't know the language, you can't move about. It's harder to make yourself what's the word I'm looking for? Inconspicuous. All right.
To be less suspicious.
To be less suspicious.
All right, now it says, for example, you take a slave. If you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets. And he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer.
God, you can't fool him any longer. And that is, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai took our speech from us, all right? Took the knowledge of who we are, all right? And so, being forced to learn this language, English, all right? And whatever captivity you're in, you've been forced to learn this language, therefore been indoctrinated, therefore having no knowledge of the things that came former. All right? They took away the language generation by generation. All right? That's why those old Negro spiritual slave songs, all right, had who we were. It was a portion of our language. All right? But through generations as it came down, those songs lost their meaning unto that people. Now they just became words, and they became words in the language that we know, and took the definition therefore.
And a lot of times when you watch them older slave movies, you know, when you see that, you know, those masters didn't like them even really communicating with each other, you know,
God.
because they feared that uprising.
And it says, and being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of and incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system.
Hey, read that part again.
And being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of and incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system.
Maintenance of the slavery system, to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind. All right? This is what that system has to continue on. All right? Go to 28:47 for me and 48.
Deuteronomy 28 and 47.
Oh.
This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 47. It says, because thou servest...
Slaki. Actually, go to 36 and 37. 36 and 37.
The Lord shall, this is Deuteronomy 28 and 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other powers, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
God. All right, so not only did we get destroyed from our language, we got taken into a nation to learn their language and their ways. All right? And this is all for the disobedience.
You want me to drop down to 47?
God, drop down to 47.
Or verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send thee in hunger, and thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Con. And not knowing our language was part of that destruction. All right?
Go to 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fleeth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Come. All right? A nation that... So why is it so important to understand the language? All right? It's important that you understand the language that you're speaking. And most people don't even understand the English language, and it's the hardest language to learn. Why? Because it's all about confusion. All right? Go ahead and read.
For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out our crops, and he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops, and the slavery system would break down, for he would relate on the basis of what our crops really meant.
Go ahead.
I was watching the Gabar, Apostle Gabar, and he was doing a video on where he brought out, I think it was Alex Russo said, if the people knew how the monetary system really worked, there would be like a rebellion in like
God.
a few days,
God. I believe I've seen that one. That's an older video, right?
Not too old.
It's not too
Earlier
old.
this year.
Yeah.
Probably 3 months ago, 2 months ago.
God, watch that one. Go ahead. Slacker.
So you have to be careful in setting up the new language, for the slave would soon be in your house, talking to you as man to man, and that is death to our economic system.
That is death to the economic system, what the brother just brought out. All right?
They got, because, English has all these rules to it,
Cut knife.
Right. They have all these rules and stuff that you have to learn to use it correctly, different from more other languages are easier to actually learn. They said English is the hardest to learn after you already know another language.
Come on.
But just like these rules that they have in their language, they have in this law system,
Come on. That's why it's the language of the law. All right? Go ahead.
All right. In addition, the definition of words or terms is only a minute part of the process.
Definition of words and terms. That's why the apostles tell you, all right?
To study words.
Study words. Go into the etymology of the word. The root of something doesn't change. The root of the tree is the root of the damn tree. It is going to be what it is. It's always going to derive from the root. You can't change it. An apple tree is not going to change into an orange tree. All right? Because of the roots, the seed that it came out of. It is rooted in that. All right? That's the root of the word. It's not going to change. They try to, what do they make? Compound words?
Mm-hmm.
All right? But you break a compound word down. Because it's compound. What does compound mean? It's two or more of something.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
I'm pretty sure they told you all that back in grade school.
Right. You added it together. All right? Go ahead.
All right. It says values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language.
Wait a minute. Value. All right? If this whole language is fucked up and demonic, all right, and has a low frequency, read that again.
Values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language.
Values. So your moral values are shit because the language is shit. All right? Your moral values, the moral fiber of people is typically shit because the language is shit. All right? You don't have a Ishmael, the Arabic women talking extra crazy or men talking extra crazy. Why? Because their language is a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. It's like in Spanish, you learn the cuss words first, right? People say you typically learn the cuss words first. It's the easiest. But in a lot of other languages, they don't have it. It's not as easy, all right, to learn the curse words.
But the terminology or the definitions of
The curse words are.
Well, not even curse words. I'm just saying, like in English, it brings out a low vibration. And the sayings that we use on the daily, like even just from good morning.
God.
Yeah. makes it.
It's a negative. It's actually a negative thing because what does morning mean?
Right. God.
That's just the one example. There's, and it's just in like everyday use of speech. But when you tell yourself good morning every day, everybody good morning, good morning, good morning.
Everybody's good in their morning.
Right.
Why is morning good?
Hey, that's what we in right now.
All right.
But they use that in this language, to keep it suppressed and keep your vibration low.
God. That's why it's top of the morning too.
Like they say, not even top of the morning.
No, I'm just saying they changed the speech, and that's why you have top of the morning, good morning. You have, like you're saying, you have all these compound words, right? that they put together, and they keep the vibration down, like you're saying, on anything that you do. So, Salaki, I was just saying, across the scale, it doesn't matter what you say. Typically in this, it's all shit.
Right. They said what's the scripture? One's not defiled by the things that
it goes into his mouth.
But
cometh
come out.
God.
Yeah. And next it says, a total society has many interconnected value systems. All these values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working in the society. But for these language bridges, these many value systems would shapely clash and cause internal strife or civil war.
Jeremiah 5:15 for me. And to cause civil war, is the value system, all right? Because as we just discussed, if the language is shit, all right, and the language holds morality and values, all right, it's just breaking it down. As the brother said, low vibration. The language across.
It's in 5:15.
5:15.
Jeremiah 5:15 says, "Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understand what they say."
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai destroyed the language, therefore helping to destroy the people for our disobedience.
It's like when you go into the fine print. You don't know what all them
disclaimers
terms mean, the disclaimers and everything. I didn't know that. I seen something on YouTube, a YouTube short, and you could, if you got a pair of Nikes, it's in your warranty. If you bought it less than 2 years ago, you could take that shoe back, but you just have to know exactly what to tell them, and if they don't have that shoe in stock no more, say that shoe's style is terminated, they have to repay you the price.
God.
Give you that same value. But people don't know that shit.
It's all in the fine print.
It's all in the game. I saw a bunch of stuff like that popping up on I was like, man, that's part of the what he was saying when you know the language, what Willie was saying. When you know the language, your economy gonna crash.
Right.
More people are getting in tune with how to play the system the right way.
God,
that's how we know it's falling.
Another example is if you ever seen that show, The Great Couponers, all right? The people who have like 50, 60, 70 coupons, all right, and get everything in their cart for $1.37. Mm-hmm. And it's over $700 worth of groceries.
Yeah, my neighbor used to do that shit. She just, have stockpiles of just shit she didn't even need.
Right.
I mean, which is good now.
It's because she understands the language.
But she was just playing the little coupon game at CVS when it first came out. Everybody was doing that.
God.
I was like, damn.
Understanding the language. Understanding the language.
Most people get a coupon and be like, it's another piece of paper.
Right. That's why they have the fine print on the coupon.
A lot of Jakes now, they're learning how to manipulate their credit system.
God.
and come up financially just through credit. Which people been doing all along. It just wasn't that knowledge wasn't passed down to us because that's knowledge of this world, and it's stupid.
Okay. That this system and not knowing the language helped the rich get richer. All right. So like it helped the rich get richer, and that generational gap continue. All right. That financial cushion from slavery, all that free labor continued to get bigger and bigger. All right. Where you now have trillionaires and billionaires. All right. Your average person can become a millionaire. All right. If they know the language. All right. China has umpteenth millionaires. All right. Because they understand the language. All right. Have made millionaires overnight from understanding the language of this current system. Right. And this system right here is what? It's a business. All right. So to understand the business language behind it, therefore giving you the resources to do anything that you want with it. All right. Go ahead and continue.
The degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of issues or relative opposing strength in whatever form. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to life there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean or partially clean, or he might not worry you at all.
It's like sweeping dirt. Okay? That's exactly what it is. You put a slave in a hog pen and he's worried about keeping it clean. It's like sweeping dirt. All right? And you got a dirt floor. What are you doing? All right? Can you pull Deuteronomy 29 and 25 through 26?
This is Deuteronomy 29 and 25. Then shall they say, because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord power of their fathers, which he had made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, for they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them.
Time. All right. And once again, this all happened because we disobeyed the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. The language was destroyed for our disobedience. All right. I believe you got a little bit more on that, right?
It says, on the other hand, if you put this same slave in the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language whereby he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen, you got a problem. He will soon be in your house.
Hey, that's how about Shem Yahushai? All right, and the slip was that Esau Edom didn't account. All right, the phenomenon that it actually would happen back in chapter 6.
They got sloppy with their with this manual.
God, they got sloppy with the manual,
which was all due from the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, the prophecies he already set in place. But that's how we're able to come back to this, and Yahweh Shem Shai put that spirit on them to and the spirit on the prophets to
be diligent,
understand the work, and start seeing these conspiracies set up against us,
God, and really, truth of the matter, there's no longer conspiracy.
Right.
All right. This is factual.
Yeah, but they're conspiracies.
Con. That's like I wasn't understanding what you were saying before.
Not like a conspiracy theory, but how they conspired and.
Con. I wasn't understanding what you said. What you said it at first, Salakia. All right.
Is that it?
Pull Baruch 2 and 30 through 31. And that's it, right? Yeah. He's going to pull, we got a couple more scripts and we'll go ahead and close out. Pull Baruch 4 for me and 13 through 15. God, he's got to pull Baruch 2 first.
There we go. 2 and what?
2, 30 through 31.
This Baruch 2 and 30, it says, "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivity they shall remember themselves."
Yahweh Shem Yahushua is now having us remember ourselves. Alright? He is now having us remember ourselves because it is at this time. Alright? It is that time that phenomenon has happened. Alright? And is in the process of happening. Alright? Brothers and sisters are continuing to wake up. Alright? Baruch.
You don't want me to get 31?
Yeah. You pulled Baruch. Continue on that, but did you pull Baruch 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Come.
"And shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I give them an heart and ears to hear."
Give them a heart, which is a mind. Right? Your mind to understand, and your ears to hear the words that are being spoken by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right? To pay attention, to be a watchman of what's going on. All right? To look up the etymology of words. To understand his speech and how he's speaking unto the nation of Israel. All right, go ahead and pull Baruch 4. And can you get Book of Jude 2 and 5?
Jude?
Yes.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 13.
Or 1 and 5.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 13. "They knew not his statutes, nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the paths of discipline in his righteousness." Verse 14. "Let them that dwell about Sion come, and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting hath brought upon them."
Come. This is for the punishment. That was 13 through 15, right?
You said 13 through 14?
15.
Okay. Verse 15. "For he hath brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither reverenced old man nor pitied child."
And what happened during slavery? Did they care about your wife? Did they care about your daughter? Did they care about your son? They care about you? No. It's well documented. All right? Well documented. Zoos, picnics, Black Friday sales. All right?
And not just that, but there was another article I looked at a while back that a few so-called white people that have slave receipts in their homes. So
What?
slave receipts.
That's slave receipts.
Come.
Yeah. So that right there tells you that they are from a family of slave owners.
Buying and selling. All right? They have the documentation of the whole majority of the slave system, all right, and can go back and trace your lineage back, right? They can tell what plantation, what man, where your seed actually comes from, all right? A lot more than you, but they're not going to disclose that information, all right? Because you start digging further and getting farther into the rabbit hole, right? And then you come up to what? You followed the money all the way back to the beginning. All right? You want to know something, follow the money trail. Right? It'll take you all the way back. Why? Why will the money take you all the way back? Because it's generational wealth, dummy. All right? Generations of money, top of money, on top of money. All right? Once you understand that generational wealth has to start from the beginning to be a generation, the beginning of the generation, then you start seeing the methods that they took to receive that financial stability, and the cargo thereof. All right? Because all we were cargo and cattle. All right? Unto these other nations, especially, chiefly Esau, Edom. All right? Go ahead and pull that slug in.
This is Jude 1 and 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once
4
knew this,
and 5.
how that the Lord, having saved
5
the
and 6.
people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believed not.
Time. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will put us in remembrance. And that's what's happening right now. We are coming into remembrance of who we are, whose we are, and what we are. All right? We're a kingdom of kings and priests and princesses. All right? This is the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 5. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Verse 6, ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the power to wrath. Ye were delivered unto the enemies. Verse 7, for ye provoked him that made you, by sacrificing unto devils and not unto the power.
This is why. That's why. All right? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai had to chastise us. You had to receive and get that whooping. All right? As a nation and as individuals in the nation. This is what happened unto us. This is how we were destroyed. Through this manual. All right? And the manual was ultimately set up by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But Willie, all right, was the one to perform it. Because that's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's sword. All right? Go ahead. And then pull Deuteronomy 32, 8 through 9.
You said Zephaniah what?
Zephaniah 3 and 9.
3 and 9. This is Zephaniah 3 and verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to serve him with one consent.
And this is that pure language, all right? Even though we're speaking in this bastard tongue, all right? Understanding the etymology of words, understanding the breakdowns and the mysteries of this book is returning us unto the pure language. This is being called into remembrance. This is the remembrance unto the pure language, which Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Abaratazah, all right, will put us all back in a soon time. All right? That this promise will be fulfilled. This is the goal. This is why men are laboring out on the highways and byways. This is why men of Israel, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American men, all right, whose father's line goes back, are laboring. All right, to be in obedience and in compliance. Why the daughters of Israel are coming back into their lot. All right? The few sisters that are watching.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Verse 9, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has a lot, has an inheritance, and it belongs to the nation of Israel. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the forefathers of the nation of Israel. All right?